Welcome to Airgun Extra, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest's premier airgun centre and ranges. In this week's episode, we've got an affordable break barrel Springer on test, but before that, I'm kicking things off with a pony paddock rabbit shoot. Well, that is a great start. As you can see, I'm out on the rabbits, and that is the first one of the evening in the bag. That one was only about 2/3 grown, but they all have to go here. These are pony paddocks, and the fact is that the excavations being caused by these rabbits could cause a horse or pony a very, very serious injury. Now, the side of the field that I shot that one from, I'm in a very narrow field corner here, so the side of the field I shot that rabbit from is still getting some sunlight, but I expect the rabbits to get more and more active as the evening wears on, so we should be in for a few more shots. And there's another one. That one was just under 30 metres, which with this setup just requires a touch of hold under. Now, the side of the field where the rabbits are emerging, it's pretty much in full shade now, and my thinking is that the rabbits are going to be more confident and become more active in that fading light. Now, interestingly, there is actually a slight rise in the field between where I am and where the rabbits are emerging, and I can just about shoot over the top of it with this fairly low, stable bipod. But the useful thing is, it's keeping me hidden, it's giving me a bit more cover. And also, although there's not much cover on that side of the field, it's been grazed a bit tighter, and it doesn't get as much light, so it's still a bit sparser. There's quite a lot of cover here, it's quite thick around me, and to the point that I haven't even worried about wearing a head net this evening. Well, that one did the classic headshot cartwheel and has landed absolutely stone dead. Again, it was around about the 30 metre mark, so it just needed a tiny touch of hold under. Now, if you're wondering how I'm able to be so confident about my ranges, it's because I've already done my range finding. I've got a rangefinder with me, and I talk about this a lot, but I have a quick ping around with it before the shooting starts, because I don't want to be waving it around and attracting attention when the rabbits are above ground. So I have simply ranged prominent objects, fence posts, tree trunks, things like that around where I expect the rabbits to be emerging, So when they come out, I can just use the closest thing that I've ranged to them as a marker that gives me that clear indication. And that one was pretty close to a post that I'd ranged at 31 metres. A quick tip for when you're shooting prone like this and using a bipod for gun support. Now, a lot of less experienced shots don't know what to do with their leading hand. I think they instinctively, being accustomed to putting it under the forend of the gun, they grab at the bipod, and that obviously transfers movement from your body through the gun. The best thing to do with this hand is to clench it into a fist and tuck it under the butt of the gun. You've then got it supporting the gun, the same as the bipod is at the other end, and tiny movements of this fist can adjust your aim by very small increments, making for really precise shot placement. Another lovely clean kill there. It's got to be said, you know, getting down on your belly and shooting from a bipod like this, it is pretty uncomfortable, but you're rewarded with lovely, stable, steady shots. And as I've already mentioned, it also just keeps you down off the skyline and out of sight. Right, well, it's gone very, very quiet here now, and I'm starting to get really uncomfortable, so it seems like a good time to wrap it up. But we've made a reasonable bag of rabbits in a pretty short period of time, so not only is it good for pest control and obviously lowering the numbers of rabbits in these pony paddocks, but it also means that I'm going home with some free-range meat for the pot. Now, before we started shooting, we did shoot a bit of a roundup of the kit that I've been using for this session, so we'll leave you with that. Right, we're about to head over to the paddocks to do some rabbit shooting, but while we're waiting for the light to fade and the rabbits to start venturing out, it seems like a good time to just run through the kit. So the gun that I'm going to be using this evening is the FX DRS Classic. This is sub 12 foot-pound model, 177 caliber. Now, I've said it before, I would describe the DRS Classic as a high-end airgun at a sort of mid-range price. It's a brilliant value airgun for what it is. It's also a very distinctive airgun. Its cylinder is wrapped around the barrel, and its plenum is in what looks like a box magazine, so that gives it a very distinctive look. And again, something I've said before, because of its great value, you may want to spend a bit more money on customizing it and maybe treat yourself to a bespoke stock like the handle that I've got on here from Form Rifle Stocks, which I think looks absolutely stunning. Now, regardless of whether you go for a custom stock or the perfectly good standard handle, this is a very accurate multi-shot PCP. It's not too pellet fussy, to be honest with you. I've been running this one on the heavier version of QYS Streamlined. I think they're 9.56 grains. It's a pellet that a lot of my sub 12 177 airguns get on very well with. This one in particular is practically stacking them. I've got it zeroed at 35 meters, and it's very accurate with them at that range and beyond. What else have we got? So optics wise, actually another piece of kit that I'd describe as high-end performance, a mid-range price. It's the Hawke Sidewinder. Now this is a brilliant scope. It's given me excellent service for years, and I just hope that my scope cam footage does it justice later on. I've got it attached as ever with Sports Match scope mounts, and actually because the DRS magazine is relatively low profile, I've been able to get away with using low scope mounts. So I've just got a gnat's whiskers clearance above the cylinder, which just keeps my line of sight nice and low to the barrel, which I really like. Other kit, very quickly, the silencer. People have asked me about this on numerous occasions and I can't remember the model. It's an old one from an FX Impact, but it is a very good match for the DRS. And obviously I'm going to be shooting on my belly this evening off of a bipod, so I need quite a low one. I think this is a 6 to 9 inch model. It's a Bisley bipod, adjustable legs, and very importantly it's got a swivel feature, so that enables me to rock the gun left or right if I'm slightly uneven, and it just prevents problems with canting the gun. It means I can keep the vertical crosshair dead upright all the time. So that's the kit. As ever, all being well, you will have just seen me putting it to good use. When you finish watching this video, don't forget to check out our website airgunextra.com. It's basically a free online magazine where you can access loads of airgun hunting articles, how-to articles and airgun reviews. Right, next up we're joining Rich Saunders as he reviews the Precihole Minerva.
Precihole is possibly a brand of air rifle that you're not too familiar with. It's an Indian company and its products are very popular in their home market, but about a year ago, February 2024, Air Arms announced that it would be taking on a global distribution agreement for the brand, and since then they've been bringing the rifles into the UK and other markets, and they have quite a large range of PCP rifles as well as Springers. And they're all aimed at the sort of the mid-market, affordable end of the market, and they're all available in 177 caliber only. Now, this rifle here is the Precihole Minerva. It's a Springer, and priced at £196 recommended retail. I think it's fair to say that it's at the sort of upper level of affordable and sort of lower level of mid-price range. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the rifle from back to front, talk about some of the key features, and then we'll take it up, down on the range and see how it shoots. At 1090mm long or 43 inches, the Precihole Minerva is certainly a full-size rifle. Now of that, 455mm or 17.5 inches is taken up with the barrel, but that does include this plastic foresight, and I would imagine that with that removed, the barrel is probably a 17-inch barrel. The weight is a very manageable 3.2 kilos or 7 pounds, and that's largely down to the fact that you have this very obvious black plastic stock. It's very well finished, very well made, and there's no notchiness on it at all. It's nice and solid. There is a moulding seam that runs around it, but that's nice and smooth. There's no sharp edges or anything like that on it at all. Right at the back you have a solid rubber butt pad or shoulder pad. There are some ridges on it to aid with grip in the shoulder, but it's not adjustable in any way. This cheek came up here is nice and high too, gives you good sight down the rifle to sight the rifle, but that's not adjustable either. But as a completely ambidextrous rifle, you do get quite nice pronounced cheek pieces on both sides. The pistol grip is nice and slim. I think this will suit junior shooters as well as people obviously with smaller hands. And there are a couple of sort of cut out dimples on either side here in this scoop here, which makes it very comfortable to grip. Now you can shoot this with a wraparound grip, or a thumb up grip if you prefer. I found, to be honest, the wraparound grip a little bit more comfortable. The fore end is nice and long, so if you want to do, shoot unsupported standing up, you've got plenty of room here to put your lead hand. There are panels of checkering on either side, and the fore end itself is quite flat until it gets to the very end, where there's a little bit of a flare here, which adds a little bit of aesthetic appeal. Now the trigger, it looks like it's metal, and I put a magnet on it, and it's not. I don't think it's plastic either, so it's some sort of alloy. The blade is quite broad, very comfortable in your finger, and it's quite a straight blade as well. Now it is 2 stages, and it is adjustable with some adjustment underneath here. I've not adjusted it because I found it quite fine straight out of the box. On this rifle, the first stage pull was quite long, but it does come up to a very distinct stop, and then the second stage let off is nice and crisp actually. Now forward of it is the safety catch, which is on in the rear position, and then push it forward and the rifle is live. It does come on every single time you break the barrel, so every time you pull the barrel down, the safety catch will set, and that's going to annoy some people. I'm not that bothered actually, and you know what? Virarc have been using automatic safety catches for decades, and they know a thing or two about spring-powered rifles. On the top you have quite a generous dovetail rail, very cleanly cut for you to put a scope on top of, and it also comes with a set of open sights. Now I'll be honest, when I saw one of these rifles about a year or so ago, the open sights were a little bit sort of cheap and plasticky. I think they've improved them since then, because this is quite a nice unit. It's metal, very solid, very sturdy. There's adjustment for both windage and elevation as well. And the rear viewing slot is a straightforward notch. And then at the front here you have this plastic fore end foresight, which is a straightforward blade inside a hood. So I think that's all the key things on the rifle. What we'll do now is we'll take it down the range and see how it shoots. So I popped down to Reading Air Target Shooting Club with the Precihole Minerva. I'm using JSB exact pellets, they're the 8.44 grain pellets, and I set a target out at 20 meters, which I think is a fair enough test for a budget Springer. And it's quite blustery, but we'll see how we get on. Cocks really smoothly actually, there's no draunchiness or anything like that, and it locks up pretty good as well. There's a little bit of twang on the action, but to be honest, that's to be expected. Most Springers I use, even the expensive ones, have a little bit of twang on them. The trigger's not bad. I mean, obviously at this price point you're not expecting kind of Virarc record levels of sophistication, but it's more than usable. The blade is nice and broad, sits in your finger really comfortably, and there's a very clear stop between the two stages, and let off isn't too bad actually. Couple more to go. Right, last one. Right, well that's all 10 shots with the Precihole Minerva. Let's go down and have a look at the card. Okay, well that's not too bad. One, I think that's the first one went straight through the bullseye. Then it all started going a little bit wrong. One has obviously dropped quite low there, but I would say that's 8 shots, well 9 shots really, within a £2 coin, and probably 8 of those shots are within a £1 coin. As I say, it's quite blustery today, so that's not bad at all. Well, there you go. That is the Precihole Minerva spring-powered rifle, 177 caliber. Recommended retail price is 196 quid. I'm sure if you shopped around you might get it for a little bit cheaper than that, to be honest. And for that money, I'd say it's pretty good value. It's really solidly made. There's no shakes or rattles on it at all. Very solid. Nice finish synthetic stock, and it shoots pretty accurately too. Now I had it on the chronograph and it was putting out a fairly consistent 11 foot-pounds, or just under 11 foot-pounds, and it had a shot-to-shot variance of I think 34 feet per second over 10 shots, which really isn't that bad. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to also check out our website airgunextra.com and also the Facebook page. Thanks for watching.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week, but as usual, we'll be back with more in 2 weeks' time. Thanks again to Crackshot. You can find a link to their website in the show description. And thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Do also check out the Airgun Extra Facebook page and those free articles on airgunextra.com. As I said, we're back with more in a fortnight. In the meantime, enjoy your shooting and stay safe.
The Great British Shooting Show, held on the 13th to the 15th of February 2026 at the NEC Birmingham. Book tickets online at shootingshow.co.uk.